Jenifer Lewis was renowned for her ability to brighten whatever space she entered for over 40 years. She was one of the most admired people in Hollywood because of her voice, sense of humor, self-assurance, and enduring personality. She always brought energy wherever she went, whether she was speaking, performing, singing, or just giving her audacious wisdom. However, at the age of 68, an unexpected development started to take place. It began slowly, almost silently. Despite being welcomed as a frequent guest, Jenifer stopped making appearances on talk shows. She declined speaking engagements without giving a reason. Her once vibrant social media accounts ceased to update, and everyone's beloved effervescent presence abruptly vanished into silence. Her supporters initially thought she was taking a vacation. Jenifer had always worked continuously, so it felt normal to take a brief break. But when weeks went by and she was nowhere to be seen, folks started to get concerned. She wasn't like this. Jenifer was never the kind to disappear silently. She enjoyed interacting with her fans. She enjoyed voicing her opinions. She also cherished maintaining her connection to the outside world. The quiet seemed more oppressive than usual. Longtime fans and friends began to notice that something wasn't quite right. Where is Jenifer Lewis, and why has the mother of Black Hollywood disappeared? Were examples of blog headlines. Even other actresses who typically saw her at business events said in private that they hadn't seen her in months. Her absence felt more than just a vacation. Something more profound, something unsaid, seemed to be present. Jenifer could have spoken something, but her quiet had greater impact. People wondered what had really happened behind her abrupt retreat, and it caused a quiet wave of alarm to permeate throughout Hollywood and beyond. Hollywood's response: fear, perplexity, and speculation. Hollywood became increasingly concerned as time went on. Jenifer was a powerhouse, not simply another actor. For many years, she had been a reliable and fearless figure in entertainment. People in the industry were upset to see someone as vibrant as her disappear without anyone noticing. Her phone was suddenly inaccessible, according to producers who used to communicate with her on a daily basis. Directors who had planned to cast her in future parts reported receiving courteous rejections without providing any information. Her beloved co-stars started posting encouraging remarks on the internet. While some shared old pictures and expressed gratitude for her decades of mentoring, others said, "Thinking of you, Jenifer." However, none of them explained why she had taken a step back. The public's anxiety was only heightened by their courteous posts and quiet. Rumors started to circulate in the absence of an official answer. She allegedly retired in secret, according to several gossip sites. Others speculated that she had a major health problem. Dramatic notions that she was in a life-threatening state were even written by a few careless websites. Despite the fact that none of these stories were supported by actual facts, they swiftly gained popularity due to people's need for explanations. Comments such as, "I hope she's okay," were posted by fans worldwide. "She hasn't spoken for too long. We grew up with her. She's more than just an actress." It became evident that Jenifer was not only missed, but also profoundly and emotionally missed. Every day it felt more and more like Hollywood had lost her voice, her joy, and her bold personality. One unpleasant reality persisted behind all the rumors and whispers. Only Jenifer herself truly understood what she was going through. Behind the scenes, an extended emotional battle. Few people were aware of the quiet struggle Jenifer had been engaged in behind closed doors. She carried the burden of constantly being humorous, strong, and the fearless, self-assured woman that everyone wanted her to be for years. The public perceived her as strong, but they were blind to the burden she carried in secret. She frequently disregarded her own mental well-being, despite the fact that she made so many people happy. She was the go-to person for strength, comedy, and wisdom, yet she seldom ever took a break. This strain eventually resulted in emotional weariness. She had an inexplicable sense of exhaustion. Even easy things felt more difficult. Making public appearances felt overwhelming. Even though her body was telling her to slow down, she persisted because she felt she owed it to her fans and her profession. She was suffering with a slow, problematic health condition that left her exhausted most days, in addition to emotional exhaustion. She did a good job of hiding it by acting as though nothing was wrong, smiling during interviews, and performing while in pain. She was not looking for pity. She didn't want her flame to fade or the world to think she was weak. She endured all of this on her own until one day her body and mind were unable to cope. Jenifer wasn't going missing to gain notoriety or mystery. She needed to preserve the aspects of herself that she had sacrificed over the years, which is why she was vanishing. A silent collapse at the breaking moment. She went to a private charity event out of respect for a close friend, and that's when everything changed. Despite her illness, she persuaded herself that she could manage. She had persevered through worse. Although her closest friends saw that she was exhausted, she arrived with her typical kind grin. Just before she was supposed to make a brief appearance backstage, Jenifer had a severe onset of vertigo. The room seemed to whirl, her hands shook, and her eyesight became blurry. Despite her best efforts, her body was unable to support her. As her companions hurried to assist her, she softly fell into a chair and began to breathe heavily. Jenifer refused to go to the hospital despite their pleas. She didn't want to be described as sick or failing in headlines. She didn't want to be photographed when she was at her most vulnerable. Instead, with the backing of her loved ones on both sides, she departed via a private exit. She only left early due to not feeling well, according to the media. They were unaware that this was her breaking point. This breakdown was more than simply a physical one for Jenifer. It was sentimental. That's when she understood her body and soul were pleading with her to quit at last. Her personal choice to refrain from acting Jenifer was shaken in a level she had never experienced before after the backstage event. She was accustomed to overcoming discomfort and performing even when she wasn't feeling her best, but this time was different. She was no longer able to deny the unmistakable message her body had conveyed. She acknowledged to herself that she had to quit for the first time in her lengthy career. She sat by herself in her bedroom that evening, reflecting on all she had contributed to the world. The films, the music, the shows, the laughs, the stirring speeches, decades of uninterrupted labor. She became aware that it had been years since she had taken a true vacation. She had spent her entire life as Jenifer Lewis, the powerful, charismatic, resilient woman who never allowed anything to stop her. But now, she was more in need of quiet than praise. The following morning, Jenifer discreetly called her team and announced an unexpected decision. She was leaving Hollywood, acting, and public appearances. She informed them that she needed actual time to recuperate. Even though her team was aware of how much the world would miss her, they accepted her choice. She didn't announce anything in public. She did not make a remark about her retirement. In the hopes that others would understand, she just moved away from the strain. She concentrated on slow, patient recuperation while spending her days with close friends and family. She relished peaceful days in her garden, read novels she never had time to finish, and, for the first time in decades, let her thoughts rest. She didn't decide to give up. It was about prioritizing life over fatigue. It was about picking herself over what was expected of her. The media twist, untrue headlines. However, quiet becomes its own narrative when someone like Jenifer Lewis vanishes from the spotlight. Reporters began to notice that she had turned down each new assignment that was presented to her. When several reporters reached out to her management for statements, they consistently received the same response. Jenifer is taking some time off. The press's curiosity was only piqued by that straightforward statement. A prominent tabloid soon published the shocking headline, "At 68, the tragedy of Jenifer Lewis ends her life and career." Dramatic language and conjecture abounded in the piece. It made reference to her quiet, her cancelled engagements, and her disappearance, all of which were twisted into a sinister story without a single verified fact. The tale was made even more dramatic by other websites that added their own variations of the headline. Those who were unaware of the reality started to panic. Some believed she had a serious illness. Others were afraid that something irreparable had occurred. The internet was full with heartfelt remarks, conjecture, and sadness. Jenifer's quiet break had become a public tragedy due to the media's negligent reporting. This was untrue. However, the world accepted what they were told in the absence of Jenifer's voice. At last, Jenifer makes a sincere personal declaration. Jenifer came to the realization that she had to speak up for herself after witnessing the fabricated headlines. She had desired seclusion. Silence was what she had desired. However, that quiet was suddenly being transformed into something unpleasant and terrifying. Her devoted followers were terrified for her life. She couldn't allow rumors to give them pain. She took a seat at the dining table, meticulously jotted down her ideas, and shared a lengthy message on social media. She spoke with humility and honesty. She clarified that she was not experiencing a tragic tragedy or dying. She revealed that she had been battling fatigue, stress, and a slow-moving, debilitating medical issue that she had neglected for too long. She described how years of relentless effort had caught up with her and that she needed to take a break in order to recover. "I am not leaving this world, I am simply stepping away from the noise," she wrote. "I've dedicated my entire life to my craft, and now I'm choosing peace. I'm opting for relaxation. Please don't be concerned. I'm getting better. Love is all around me." Her message was composed, genuine, and honest. She was open about how vulnerable she was. She didn't make an effort to sound powerful. In public, she gave herself permission to be human. And everything changed as a result of that honesty. Public reaction, love, comfort, and support. The response to Jenifer's message was amazing. After months of worry, fans finally breathed a sigh of relief. Within minutes, thousands of comments surfaced. She was praised for speaking the truth in her own words. Others expressed regret for falling for the rumors. Many claimed to have prayed daily for her in the hopes that she would be all right. Love-filled sentiments were shared on her post by her fellow actresses. Some wrote on how Jenifer had influenced their careers, motivated them, and served as a mentor. Others stated that her bravery in taking a break served as a reminder that even the most resilient people require time to recover. She was warmly and deeply respected by the entertainment industry. Important discussions about aging, burnout, and the pressure on public figures were also spurred by her message. People valued Jenifer's decision to be truthful rather than act as though nothing was wrong. She felt understood for the first time in months, not as a star, but as a person. She was reminded by the love she received that leaving did not mean she was forgotten. It indicated that others were concerned enough to allow her to recover. The end of an era, not death, is the real tragedy. People became aware of something more profound as the truth became known and the commotion subsided. Jenifer Lewis was alive, well, and safe. Her death was not the tragedy. Since it marked the end of an era, the true sadness was symbolic. Jenifer had been a powerful, humorous, and truthful voice in Hollywood for many years. She made each character she portrayed come to life. She made people feel seen, laugh, and cry. Her disappearance from the public eye was like losing a piece of history, a chapter that influenced comedy, drama, Black Hollywood, and storytelling. Her life's demise was not the tragedy. It was about her illustrious career coming to an end. Saying goodbye to someone who had been a part of people's lives for generations was emotionally taxing. Hollywood had lost more than just an actress. It had also lost a legacy, a spirit, and a sound that would never come back. However, there was also a subtle beauty in that melancholy. With honesty, courage, and dignity, Jenifer had left the stage on her own terms. Concluding thoughts. A legacy greater than notoriety, Jenifer began a new chapter in her life during the quiet months that followed. She rested, thought, and relished the quiet times she had been longing for. Throughout her years in Hollywood, she never had time to reestablish a connection with herself. Her career was over, but her influence was still strong. Fans revisited her movies, interviews, memorable quips, and famous scenes. She remained an inspiration to young actors as a representation of bravery and sincerity. Her story became a reminder that strength isn't always about pushing forward sometimes. It's about knowing when to stop and protect your heart. Jenifer's retirement did not diminish her legacy. It grew stronger, deeper, and more meaningful. Her parting message to the world wasn't a goodbye. It was a gentle reminder. Life is bigger than fame. Applause is not as important as peace. Furthermore, choosing oneself is an act of strength rather than a tragedy.